Hey, good afternoon. This is Lee Iben, and I am with Action Coach Campus. And my special guest today on our episode of Business Basics is none other than Brook Easton with digital marketing. Now, Brook, it's great to have you here this afternoon. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, thanks for having me.
You know what? I am really excited to talk with you because of all the digital awareness that we've had during COVID-19. So many people are using Zoom or WebEx or Skype or FaceTime, and many more people than they ever thought they personally would, probably. You know, people in their 50s and 60s are like, oh, what is this? So tell me, what are some of the changes you've seen? Well, before we go there, let's back up. Brook, tell me about digital marketing. What do you guys started this like 20 years ago, is that right?
Yeah, so we started with websites first and foremost, because of course, way back in, 20 years ago, Facebook was not a thing. So we started with websites. That was like in the beginning stages of web design. And it was, very old school, that sort of thing. And then we just kind of caught the wave and we just kept going and learning new things and learning WordPress and kept moving on. I, at the time, was not part of the business. It was solely my husband's business at the time. But in 2016, I came on board and started doing the digital marketing because we were having a lot of clients then asking at that point, well, what's this Facebook thing all about? And should I be there? And how much does it cost to be there? And what do I need to do? And so I came on board and kind of took that part over. So I'm the social side, which is funny because that's super fitting. And then my husband is the web design side. So, and my husband has a degree from the university in graphic design and that sort of thing. So he really gets it and understands like the user experience and that sort of thing. So yeah.
Love that. A man after my own heart. My formal degree is in commercial design, commercial marketing, that kind of a thing. So I love that. You brought in the social aspect of this whole thing.
Yes.
And so you get Facebook, you get Twitter and Instagram.
Yes, I do. And I actually even started doing Facebook marketing and stuff right on the cusp of when they started monetizing it. So in the early stages where we could do really cool stuff without it costing us a lot of money, we could, it just wasn't as strict back then either. I mean, we could just create like a really fun meme or something and put money behind it and watch it go, and it would just zoom right off. And now it's like everything has to be approved and there's a lot of more hoops to jump through, which is good on one hand, but also makes it harder for us, for the marketer too, as well. So, and for the client.
So tell me, so what type of clients do you have? What would be your target market? Who'd be your ideal client?
Our ideal client is somebody who is a small, medium-sized business owner who is looking to find their voice on the internet, whether that's through their website or through digital marketing, social media. And they are so busy in their business that they are like, I'm not doing this marketing thing. I don't have the bandwidth. I don't have the time. It's the last thing on my list of things to do. That's kind of the person that we're looking for to help. And also somebody who just understands it and kind of gets it to a certain extent, right? Understands the value behind it.
Right, right. Do you also help them with their branding, or is that pretty much already established? You do, okay.
We do everything. So there's a couple clients that we have done everything from the top down. So we're brand new businesses that are opening and they need a logo, they need a website, they need a social media presence, and they need everything. And we have walked them through every step of the entire process. So, and those are fun because that's like a business evolution, right? Like, and the look on their face when they see their logo for the first time and they see it on things and they see their website, like that's just, that's what we live for, really.
Yeah, so. That's the best feeling. Tell me, how far out do you reach? Your clients aren't just Iowa City based, obviously.
No, we do, we really do are locally based because, I mean, just because, I mean, there's nothing that says that we can't go to like other states or anything else. I think it's just mostly need and that sort of thing, of that we just service the people that we see every day, right?
Sure,
And that we
right.
interact with every day. But we go to Cedar Rapids, the Amanas, Kelowna, Dubuque, you know, all that sort of area. So, you know, really our just little geographic area here, but we're not remiss to go somewhere else either. So yeah.
Right. So dumb question. How do they find out about you?
You know, a lot of times, so we have built over 20 years of SEO into our name and everything else. So that has been very helpful. And, you know, a lot of it too is word of mouth. You know, we have really great clients that actually, we have a couple of clients that have been with us for the full 20 years, that have been with us forever. And they refer us a lot. We are also part of the Iowa City Chamber, or the Iowa Business Partnership, Iowa City Business Partnership. And that has been just so lucrative for us, not only in relationships, but in business too, as well. So we've gotten a lot out of that as well. So,
and with your chamber membership, you're not just a member, you're probably also involved at some level with the chamber. Is that correct?
Yes. So Bill is and still is an ambassador. Okay. So, and he'll tell that whole story of how I was supposed to be the ambassador, but I left and went on a trip to London and didn't fill out my thing in time. And so he had to do it. So then he became the ambassador, but he secretly enjoys it so much. So, I think it was good for him.
You know, you're right. And I think even in your business, all digitally driven, you're able to work out of your home. Much of what you can do over those Zoom calls. But again, that human interaction is still important no matter what business type that you're in, correct?
Yeah, very much so. Yeah. And, you know, and a lot of places that we do business for and we help have brick and mortar businesses, right? So until we can get in there and kind of experience the business from their perspective, it's hard for me to do social. Like I have to kind of insert myself into their brand and into what they're doing in order to be able to do so well. So I know a lot about tires right now, and I know a lot about pest control and the weirdest things. Like I know a lot about weird stuff right now. So because of that,
yeah, that's good though. I mean, it helps you. You got to fully immerse yourself in the environment so you can fully flesh out their brand or what they're trying to express as a brand. Correct?
Right. Yes. And also on social, you have to figure out their voice. Right. So a prime example is we have a restaurant client and they love puns. Like that is their thing. And so we implement that into their social media as well. So, and then there are some clients where they want to be very business, kind of professional type of voice, no emojis, no nothing. So we just have to really adapt to whomever we're speaking to and whoever we're trying to work for. So, yeah.
So this relationship with your clients is not a one and done. So walk me through this. Brand new client contacts you via email. Okay. Or met you at an ambassador event for the chamber. So what are the steps? Let's say, hey, I'm brand new to digital marketing. I'm clueless, but I have this business. What would we do?
Right. So what we'll do is we set up a meeting and we just find out their needs and some of their obstacles, right? So sometimes maybe they themselves are not on social and they don't want to be on social. So they want somebody else to take care of it and take it over. Maybe sometimes they know a lot, but they just need some guidance on what to post. So it's really a discovery type of meeting to figure out what we can provide, what they need, what their obstacles are, that sort of thing. And then we just kind of go through the evolution of everything. So depending on if they need a logo, then we do a discovery process of like, I always say that we ask you what you don't like first rather than what you do like, because sometimes it's really, people are very opinionated about what they do not like. And so sometimes that's a lot easier to nail down than what designs that they may like. And we just kind of go through that discovery process. And then really after that, we nail down exactly a scope of work, you know, and what they can expect from us, what we can expect from them. And we do ask that a lot of our clients, it's like a two-way street, right? Because unless we get content from our clients, we can't do our job either. So whether that's photography or logos or your backstory, like telling someone's backstory is, you know, their origin story, their business, of how they created their business is always so important to the storytelling aspect of social media. And so we really dive deep into all of that stuff. So, and I take tons of notes and everything else. And then we just hit the ground running, you know. We create a social brand for all of our clients. So to make sure that every single post looks cohesive and together and has the same look and feel, we'll create like brand colors for them if they don't have them already, kind of a palette. And then we, you know, some clients like me to just take it and run with it. Some of them want to approve them each week, and whatever works for them. And we just, and we just move forward. So it's been very enjoyable. And I have a tendency to use the word we when referring to like customer stuff. So I'm like, well, we really need to talk about this type of tire this month, or we really need to talk about, and I'm like, wait. Okay. So I mean, you guys, like, you know, and so I really incorporate myself into their business. And, you know, it's like my husband says a lot of times, I mean, our name is on our business. So we have to want you to succeed. I mean, that's the ultimate goal, is for everyone to succeed. And we love helping small businesses. As small business owners ourselves, we get it. So it's, yeah, it's just important to us.
I mean, small business is the backbone of the community. It really is.
It really is. And especially right now with coronavirus and everything else, I mean, it's been really sad to see some of the small businesses have to close and everything else. So we want to help people pivot and do what they need to do in order to stay open too as well. So what that ended up being was, you know, when COVID hit, it was like everyone who'd been thinking about a website called us. They're like, you know, that website that we like said we were going to do for the past 5 years, I think we probably really need that right now. So that was kind of one of those things. Or, you know, remember that Instagram account we thought we should set up? Let's do that, because I think that'd be a good idea right now. So you're saying that COVID was a busy time for you. Yeah. It was. It really was. It was what, and it's still, I mean, it still is really, people are really seeing the value, and they're understanding that, like during lockdown, when we were actually locked down for that short period of time, I mean, people were spending so much time at home and online. Right. And so they realized that that's where their clients were, you know, hanging out, messing around on the internet. So they wanted to be there too. And they understood the value at that point. So.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And I'm glad to hear you say that, because similarly in my business with business coaching, the clients I'm working with during COVID-19, especially during lockdown, that was the time that we were remodeling the store. We were looking at our books. We were redoing our business plans, because it's like, this is a recess for a business owner. Yes, exactly. And the other thing too is that I really want to reiterate too for small businesses in particular is that I think there was this misconception when COVID first happened that it was going to be a sprint, right? That like, oh, we just shut down for 4 months, we're going to be fine, this is going to be over soon, blah, blah, blah. And we quickly realize now that we're in a marathon. Right. And some of those quick pivots that maybe got you through those first 2 or 3 weeks may not be sustainable to get you through the long term. So you're going to really, really need to constantly evaluate and look ahead and kind of figure it out. And I know in these unprecedented times, I swear if I hear that one more time, unprecedented time. But really staying nimble is going to be to your benefit on so many levels, whether it's on social or with changing your website to be an e-commerce type site. You know, we have some clients that are like, oh, I never thought of selling my products online, but I think maybe I need to now. How do I go about doing that? You know, and we walk them through that process. And you can set them up. You can help them create a landing page so that they can sell products easier.
Yep.
You probably show them how to do that. So it's as less hands-on as possible, right?
Right. Like our whole goal is to make it as easy and seamless as possible, because we understand the small business owners have like gazillions of things to think about, right? And they're running their business. I mean, this is not something that's like doesn't consume you. I mean, running your own business is like a constant 24/7 type of thing. And if we can take one thing off your plate, that's where we can help. So
oh, I love it. I just love that. So during the whole COVID-19 thing, what are some things that you guys had to do differently within your business?
Yeah. So well, first of all, maintaining our team. So maintaining team connections, making sure that communication was going right. I mean, like, yeah, I have a knack for communicating whenever something comes to my brain, which could be at 8 o'clock at night, which could be on a Saturday. And so I had to make sure to tell my team, look, I don't expect you to get to this until Monday or until the next day. But if I don't tell you this now, I will forget. So just put it on your radar and that sort of thing. I didn't want them to feel like they constantly had to be on either. And just understanding that tone and stuff can come through differently when you're texting or when you're emailing and that sort of stuff. So, but yeah, definitely keeping that team aspect cohesive and making sure no one feels like they're left behind or any of that sort of stuff. And then I think like, as we were going through the whole COVID thing, I think one of the things, so we were supposed to celebrate our 20-year anniversary of our business this year. And we were going to have like a big thing out at Harvest Preserve, and we were going to do this huge thing. And it just never came to fruition, obviously. And so that goes along with all of the goals that we had set. Like, you know, we go through in January and we set some business goals and things like that. And some of those are kind of like, can't happen. And so it's kind of like when I said you have to be nimble, it's like, well, yeah, I kind of have to go back to those goals and be like, okay, how can we take this goal and bring it into COVID times? Or is this a goal that needs to wait? You know, and that sort of thing. And so that was some of the stuff that we did too, where we just reevaluated some of our goals and that sort of thing. So
yeah, and that's important. I mean, I don't care what business type you're in, you have to look at those goals on a regular basis.
Yes.
And COVID really taught us that. You know, how do we pivot? How do we do something else that fits within our business type, but maybe not the way we traditionally done it in the past? So you've been with the company since 2016.
Yes.
Husband's been doing it for 20 years. Tell me some of the pearls of wisdom, the learnings that you've had that you can share with somebody else. We'll just keep it to one or two. Okay, Brooke?
Okay. So, so here's the thing. So one of the biggest things was that when my husband brought me on board and when we started bringing team members on board, the biggest thing to remember is no man is an island, right? So no man can do every one thing. It's so much better when you work as a team and you delegate. And that has been extremely difficult. When you've been doing it all on your own for so long, it's hard to delegate. It's hard to, and it's not that you don't trust the people you hire, because you've hired great people. It's just, you've been doing it all along yourself. And so it's hard to let go. Right. And so I think that was one of the big things, is just learning to let go, having faith in our team. And I have to tell you, our team the past like 2 to 3 months have been killing it. They've been really stepping up. And like we had a client have to close for COVID, and they were on top of it, like getting graphics out really fast, getting copy out really fast. And it was amazing to watch all of us work together. So that was great. Going along with that, I think your processes are key. So that goes along with the whole communication thing, and then the processes. So it's like we use Trello a lot for all of our business stuff, but then there's our web developer likes Asana, but having something like that, like a project management tool to make sure that everyone knows what's due when and where things are at, and is so helpful too as well. So
Right.
getting those processes aligned and aligned for clients too, especially now that we can't meet in person very often. So having them know exactly where we're at with their website, or having them know exactly where we're at with a design project, and that constant communication is going to be very important too. So
Oh yeah, it's key. I mean, and we have to communicate, whether in person, over Zoom. We have to be able to communicate with our team members, don't we?
Yes, most definitely. So those are a couple things. And then, I work with my husband, so that's a whole thing. I think it does help though. And if there's anyone else out there that is working with a spouse, I think the biggest thing to remember is, number one, Bill and I are very siloed in what we do. So that's good, because there's no crossover. Like he does all the web design stuff. I don't even get involved in that. And I do all the social, and he doesn't get involved in my stuff. So that helps. But I think one thing that I made the mistake of in the very beginning was that after 5 o'clock, sometimes we would talk business. And it's like, don't do that. Don't do that. Keep the business talk to business time, and then talk about the rest of the stuff, talk about it later. So I definitely learned my lesson there.
Wow, that's impressive. Most mom and pop shops, if we can call it that, they take the business to bed with them at night. It's the first thing in the morning, and that's a hard habit to break.
It is hard. It is hard, and I learned the hard way to not do that, because it's when you're constantly stressed out about work or whatever's going on, it's really hard to then focus on family and to focus on other things. So it's nice you have to compartmentalize it,
Yes.
Have them both separate, even though you're always there.
Right. But you have to force yourself to get away from your desk and go do something else and get your mind off of it. That's right.
Yes, 100%.
I agree. So tell me one other thing about digital marketing before we wrap things up here. What do you want people to know about you and digital marketing? I mean, what's the takeaway?
I think the takeaway for all of this is just digital marketing doesn't need to be scary. So I think some people are very intimidated by it. And I think they're very worried about doing it wrong or, messing something up. And I think the thing about digital marketing is it constantly evolves, as we're learning right now. It's definitely evolving. Facebook is rolling out changes. Instagram is rolling out changes. And even I have to constantly learn. You'll never be bored, and you'll always be learning. Right. And I think for us, just knowing that, and I've had to deal with this with a couple of clients too, as we've gone through COVID, is knowing that you have somebody who has your back, right? I think that's where we come in, is they can just call us and be like, X, Y, and Z has happened. I need to get a message out on Facebook, and I need it now. And it's like, they can concentrate on the other thing while we just concentrate on their social. And we've been able to really help a lot of clients that way.
Oh yeah. That's gold, isn't it? I mean, to know that, especially for a small business owner where they don't have a team, right? I mean, they might have a team, but they might be in a whole different kind of environment, and social media just is not their thing.
Right.
They know they need it, but just don't know how to get started in the thing.
Exactly. And like I said, people get so intimidated, and they think they have to do all of the channels all at one time. And I always say, I'm like, just pick one in the beginning, and then you can kind of move on as it goes. So yeah.
Good.
Yep.
I love it. Well, thank you for joining us. We'll wrap this up. My name is Lee Iben. My guest today was Brook Easton with digital marketing. Always will be Brook Easton with digital marketing. And this has been an episode of Business Basics. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. Thank you, Brook.
Thank you.
Yeah. We'll just